Jackie Chan speaks a lot of languages, but this is a guy who didn't grow up studying languages or even getting a proper education, and yet somehow he becomes a global movie star working in more than 8 languages. Now, in my 25 years of learning and teaching languages, this is hands down one of the strangest stories I've ever heard. So in this video, I will show you how he learned all these languages, what he relied on instead of studying, and the one pattern behind all of it that completely flips how you think about learning. And it all starts in a place that makes our own daily language struggles look very, very small. Now, would you sign a contract letting your teacher beat you to death if they felt like it in exchange for learning a language? Well, Jackie Chan didn't get a choice.
I'm a very naughty boy. I always fight with the children. I always win. But after I win, my father hit me. I have to go to each door to apologize.
Yep, so his parents decided to do something about it. But before we get there, there's one little detail that matters. See, most people assume his first language is Mandarin Chinese, but it's actually Cantonese. Cantonese is the language of Hong Kong, where he was born, and it's the only language the kid knew.
就咁樣，我跟住21二啫嘛，係啊，真係21二嘅，咁啊喺度。
And his childhood was not normal at all. For one thing, his parents were so poor, they nearly sold him as a baby. So when he failed first grade, couldn't sit still, drove everyone mad, they decided to solve the problem. He was only 7, but they sent him somewhere that would change the way that he spoke forever. Boarding school, but not just any boarding school. This is the China Drama Academy, a brutally strict Peking opera school, and they left him there for 10 years. And when I say it was brutal, I mean the kids were up at 5 a.m. and going till 11 at night, 7 days a week, and it was definitely not just opera going on.
Our school is like an opera school, but we have all kind of training. You know, opera singing, dancing, gymnastics, stick fight, knife fight.
Opera singing, stick fighting, knife fighting, and heaven help you if you got it wrong. Couldn't do the splits, someone pushed you down until you could. They slept on the floor, barely ate, and were beaten with canes when they misbehaved. And as for the singing part, well, they literally beat opera techniques and songs into the kids until they mastered the skills. Remember that contract I mentioned? It said the instructors could punish them up until death.
5 o'clock in the morning, run 1 hour with all of full water, like running. You cannot drop a water, the teacher in the middle like this, and 1,000 punch, 500 kick. Just sometimes stop, boom. Then water like this, hour.
Wow, we still got it.
Never lost it.
Now, I don't know how good your geography is, but Peking opera, well, that's not Hong Kong. It's from the north of China, and it's performed entirely in Mandarin. And Jackie's language, if you remember, was Cantonese, not Mandarin. Now, I've learned Cantonese myself, and I can tell you that Cantonese and Mandarin are different languages. While they actually share the same roots, the way you speak is completely different. Different tones, you pronounce the words differently, to the point where two people from the same country really would struggle to understand each other. So for Jackie, arriving at that school speaking only Cantonese, Mandarin was very much a foreign language.
某些电影全部是讲话的，我可能听不懂，我也不知道，但是动作来讲，就是国际语言。
北极欢迎你，为你开天辟地。
He's really fluent now, but years before Jackie could hold a proper Mandarin conversation, he was actually performing entire operas in Mandarin in front of live audiences, and the stakes were incredibly high. You see, it wasn't even normal Mandarin, it was formal, stylized Mandarin, because Peking opera is a classical performance art, and this kind of storytelling through song is a huge deal, so mispronouncing a word or missing the tone was total failure. So he literally learned Mandarin by singing it, just imitating the sounds until he got perfect. If he made a mistake, well, he got the bamboo stick. In fact, the bigger kids were allowed to punish the smaller kids if they didn't understand what they said. Now, listen carefully. I don't want to hear that you bought yourself a bamboo stick, okay? But there's a reason this singing method actually works.
终于再将你融入怀中。
Beautiful, huh? So music forces you to internalize pronunciation in a way that speaking alone never quite manages. The tones, the rhythm, the exact placement of each sound in your mouth, it all gets locked in through repetition, long before your brain has consciously studied the language. This method of learning through music is exactly how I learned Brazilian Portuguese back in the day. Eu vou te falar, esse jeito de estudar funciona muito, muito bem, viu? Now, plot twist incoming. For all that drama, they forgot to teach him how to read and write. And that's kind of incredible if you think about it, because he still walked out of there speaking Mandarin. And if you step back and look at Jackie's whole story, you start to notice something. He's not following a course or textbook, no clear plan, and yet it keeps working. So I had an idea. I decided to take all of his moves, every single thing that he did to learn all of his languages, and turn this into a big summary that you can try for yourself. It's called How to Learn a Language Kung Fu Style, 7 simple power moves from the story that you can pick up and try straight away. Basically everything that Jackie did to learn his languages. When you see it all laid out like this in one simple place, you start thinking to yourself, hang on, I could actually do that myself. This is completely free. You can download the guide, you can print it, you can try it with whatever language you are learning right now. There's a QR code on the screen that you can scan with your phone or get it for free by clicking the link down below. Now, as for young Jackie, well, he's finally left that world behind and walked straight into a country where none of that hard-earned Mandarin helped him at all.
같아요.
옛날에 잘해.
지금도 잘하세요.
So Jackie turns 17 and finally leaves opera school. He's barely educated, he can't really read or write any language, but he can do a backflip off a 6-foot wall, so pros and cons, I guess. He needed a job and he followed the stunt work. He ended up in South Korea working as a stunt double. Of course, he didn't speak a word of Korean until he did.
안 똑같아요. 안 똑같아요. 축구 많아요. 사실 하나. 당신 여자 아니에요. 야 여자.
Now, Korean is interesting, and not just because it's super hard. It's what linguists call a language isolate, meaning it has no proven relatives anywhere in the world. It's not related to Chinese, not related to Japanese, not related to anything. But when it really comes down to it, all you need to learn language is a reason that actually matters to you. And if it happens to be a woman, well, in Jackie's case, that's a reason. See, one night he got stuck at a Seoul nightclub because of the curfew, and he met a girl from Korea, and it was love at first sight. Story goes, he'd call her up from a phone booth and say random lines that he picked up, like, honey, is it cold there?
당신 여자 아니에요. 야 여자.
Korean can be hard to pronounce, and yet there he is, speaking it and making people laugh. But a much harder language was about to come along and tackle Jackie Chan. By now he'd been in a few Asian movies, but his studio, Golden Harvest, had a bigger plan for him, Hollywood. And as we all know, Hollywood comes with one condition. You gotta speak English.
I find out too difficult when I come to America.
Really, what's your
because
problem?
the English.
You
And
speak
that
very-
time, no, and that time I only. Where are you from? From Hong Kong. My name is Jackie Chan.
Now, I should point out that English is about as far from Cantonese as a language can get. Completely different family, completely different logic, barely a single sound in common. Going from Cantonese to English is like arriving from another planet. But they flew him to California alone, one suitcase, not a word of English to his name. Middle of the night, something slides under his hotel door and Jackie thinks it's an important document. And so he makes an urgent call to Hong Kong. Turns out it was just a menu. And that's when he realized if he wanted to eat, he'd better make English a priority. So he spent all night practicing how to order a single meal.
Then I've been practicing milk, egg, toast, and bacon. Milk, bacon. Then the girl come hand me.
Right.
She give me the menu. Then I pretend to look. Then suddenly she coming back. Then I said, milk, bacon, toast, egg. Thank you. Okay. How would you like the egg? I said, huh? Egg. How would you like the egg? No egg, bacon, milk, toast. Thank you. So difficult.
He tried everything to learn English. Tutors, American movies, news, TV shows, imitating the accents, getting everything spectacularly wrong, trying again the next day.
Very difficult to speak. When I came, she, he, and eat, I ate.
I know, right? English is hard to learn completely from scratch, and I guess they were just expecting him to pick it up peaking opera style. Not really how anyone else does it. But then one day he discovered country music.
I know if I have to come into American market, I have to learn some English. So this is why, what's the way to learn it? Then later on, I find out there's a country song. Then I listen Kenny Rogers, like Winnie Nelson. Then I can, because the song very slow. You're always on my mind. Later on, I find out I really can use the word in the real life. Then I talk to the girl. You're always on my mind.
Love that. Who would guess such a thing? Not exactly the first thing that you would associate with a kung fu star, but there's a damn good reason that this worked for him. See, country music has that slow tempo. It's clear and emotional, and you can follow every word. And let's be real, the slow music method was already ingrained in him from age 7. Anyway, just when his English was finally getting somewhere, they cast him in a huge movie, Rush Hour.
I'm Detective Carter. Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The answer, as it turns out, was not really, no. Chris Tucker was improvising lines the whole time. Jackie couldn't understand a word. And remember, reading those scripts wasn't exactly his strength. So to get through it, he memorized all of his lines entirely like a parrot.
Cheese! Cheese! What? Freeze!
It never gets old. Now, if you think about it, his immersive experience was pretty incredible. Being forced to say full English sentences all day, taking acting directions in English, chatting offset, ordering food, and ending his day drowning in country music. It was a solid routine, and it was definitely going in, because now, well, he can do this.
Wise men say only fool rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
Hero by day, Elvis by night. There's a pretty simple lesson here though. When the stakes are real, you will actually use the language. And also, you've got to hear how people actually speak in real life. Now, you might be wondering where his parents were this whole time. And it turns out they were in, of course, Australia on the other side of the world. That's right, ever since Peking Opera School. And I'd love to tell you why, but Jackie still has another language to learn before he hears the truth. Because while all of this was happening in Hollywood, something else was exploding back in Asia. See, his movie Drunken Master had come out, and Japan went absolutely mad for it, which meant months of press tours, TV shows, fans, interviews, all in Japanese, which of course he couldn't actually speak. But this was Jackie Chan. They were expecting him to say something back in Japanese. And you know the drill by now.
日本語も少しね。忙しい。疲れた。わさび。六本木。
At first it looks like exactly what you'd expect. He says a few Japanese phrases here and there, some memorized lines, a bit of guesswork, just enough to get through the moment. So you start wondering, okay, but does he actually speak Japanese? And then out of nowhere, this happens. Jackie Chan releases a full Japanese music album of all things. 10 songs, not just a couple of lines, not a chorus. Entire songs, start to finish, in Japanese. You don't record a pop album like that by accident. So what the heck? Well, it fits the pattern. Mandarin through opera, English through country music, and now Japanese through singing again, because this is what he does. He throws himself into situations where he has to say the language out loud in one way or another, again and again and again, until it sticks. Now, I know these little clips still don't prove that much, and who actually knows how good he got, right? Well, 1984 rolls around, and whether it was the movie tours or the music, Japan gave Jackie Chan the Best Foreign Singer Award. Not actor, singer. And then he started showing up in Japan rather a lot, more than the press tours strictly required, let's say. Turns out he'd gotten quite close to one of Japan's biggest pop stars, and in 1988 the two of them recorded a duet together, in Japanese, obviously. If you were still wondering whether he actually learned the language, I think that answers it, but wait. Smack bang in the middle of all that Japanese learning, Jackie started working in Taiwanese movies too. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice another pattern with Jackie Chan. New country, new language, new woman. So you might even guess what happened next. He met a Taiwanese actress, he married her, and next thing you know, yes, he's recording songs in Taiwanese. He's Jackie Chan, of course, what did you expect? But nothing could have prepared him for the day he found out he was not really Jackie Chan, and he'd been living under an alias this whole time without even knowing it. It happened when Jackie was 47, and when I tell you what happened, you're going to think it's a scene from one of his movies, but it wasn't, it was real life. So his dad takes him on a drive and says, "Son, it's time to confess something." It turns out Dad was a spy, but that's not all. Mum was an opium smuggler, and their real surname wasn't Chan, it was Fang. That whole time. They weren't even Cantonese. Now, I don't know about you, but finding out your entire identity as a lie at 47, well, a lot to take in. But Jackie being Jackie, he didn't just process the news, he went and learned their languages. His mum's real language, Shanghainese, a completely different language from anything he'd spoken before, and his dad's native dialect, Shandong, in his 40s and 50s.
I can speak Cantonese, Mandarin, a little bit English, and Shandong, Shanghai, a lot of Korean, Japanese, and Taiwanese. Not many, 8.
Well, there you go. But there's still one more language in this story that he's forgetting, and it's the last thing I ever expected.
一语口中国，一瓦定成家，都说国很大。
Yep, that's Jackie Chan doing sign language at the Deaf Olympics in Taipei. He used it in his latest movie too, which I still need to watch. And just so that you know, sign languages, well, they're not just a signing version of the spoken language. They are completely different, unique, independent languages all of their own. So this is no small feat. Now, I'll be honest here, I'm a little bit out of my depth here. Is this Chinese or Taiwanese signing? If you know, leave us a comment below. But the fact that he's up there doing it at all, this tells you everything about the man. What I love about Jackie's story is that it isn't really about talent. He didn't study his way to all these languages. He didn't have a teacher guiding him through a curriculum. The method was always the same, even if the circumstances weren't. Find a reason that actually matters, a person, a job, a stage with a live audience, and get as close to the language as you possibly can. Not close as in study it, but close as in use it, even when it's embarrassing, even when you're getting it spectacularly wrong, because that is what results in speaking and fluency at the end of the day. And the biggest thing of all, well, he never gave up. Now, Viggo Mortensen is a different animal entirely. He doesn't wait for the language to find him. He hunts it down, moves countries, goes to prison if he has to, and his story is right here.